A career in the creative industries is really exciting. Knowing the pathway through to that career can be more complicated. The Federation of Drama Schools, or the FDS, is an umbrella group that brings together the UK's most prestigious training environments. Get Into Theatre is a charity whose website collates lots of resources that can support you in finding your pathway through to your career. We hope that these resources will help you forge the future that you want to see.
Design in a theatre and performance context is everything that the audience sees. It is everything that tells the story of the text or the dance or the music.
The training element of it is really integral to longevity in the industry and making sure that you've got a place to start from and something that you can kind of hold on to and always go back to when you might come across new challenges or new opportunities.
So as a designer, you have to think about the atmosphere you're trying to create. You have to think about the mood of the play. Is it a sort of tragic or is it comic?
So sound technology is kind of a broad term that describes working with sound for recording in live events, so concerts, theatre, working with sound in broadcasting, working in sound in film and television, and all of those things sound is really, really important. It's one of our key senses, along with watching a show or watching a film. And sound technology really describes how do we work with that sense and how do we use the technology and the wonderful new technologies we have available these days to entertain, to inform, to educate. What's not to like about sound?
So, I mean, costume can vary in levels of detail. I mean, somebody's jewellery might tell you something significant about them, whether they're in a relationship or married, for example. And, things like status, it can be very obvious. You can have, monarchs as characters in a play, but, little things can give you so much information.
So as a set designer, you need to know and think about space. A stage is a three-dimensional space. You need to think about it not as just a room, but somewhere where people are watching it from. So you need to think about where's the audience. If you're doing film or television, you've obviously got to think about where the camera is and all those sort of things. So you're always, whatever field you're working in, you need to think about how it's being seen. You need to think about the story. So it might start off dark and sort of gloomy and moody, but you might want to move into, the play might need you to go somewhere else. So, it changes. And that's where you also work a lot with the lighting designer, because they can change the mood of a space, just changing the lights. As a designer, you work alongside the costume makers, the set builders, stage management, lighting designers, and most importantly, you start off working with the director. So with the director, you kind of talk about all the ways that you might want to present this show.
On a design program, you should work with other disciplines and with your colleagues, because that's the way for you to learn how to communicate your design, for you to learn how to develop your design and make it happen with other people, because nobody works in a bubble. 99% of the time, your design will be produced with a team. The skills that you need to learn, they are not only technical, they are not only conceptual, not only design, but also are skills of communication, organization, being flexible to understand, what the needs of other disciplines, so then you can accommodate sometimes your design to actually make it happen.
I don't think there's a single department you won't interact with. You have to be a family, really, and understand what everybody is doing. So whether you're a set designer, a costume designer, set and costume designer, you'll be meeting lighting designers, you'll be working with directors, you'll be working with stage managers, you'll be working with sound designers.
It's a very good environment to make mistakes while you're still learning these things. You're not in the industry immediately, but you're in a situation that's preparing you. It feels like the industry, but you can make as many mistakes as you need to and learn from those.
Getting to practically work, and even if you're being thrown in at the deep end, not knowing what you're doing, sometimes that's the best way to learn. And you're getting to work with different departments and different people and learning all these things practically. And you're putting on a show. You know, at the end of the day, it's like a real world experience. It's less, you know, like a university and more like a training you up for the industry.
The conservatoire setup is all about practical work, building these costumes, having them photographed, the wonderful sets, the wonderful productions that you work on. And the value is going out into the world, clutching, if it's a physical manifestation of this, your photographs, your portfolio, your costume drawings, images of your lighting design, putting them on your web presence. And that's the thing that gets people work when they leave a conservatoire environment.
Now, when you come for your interview, you'll bring a portfolio.
It doesn't have to be a traditional, you know, A0 size portfolio. It can literally be anything. We like to see sketchbooks. We like to see scribbles in notebooks. We like to see artifacts. So if you've made a piece of costume or you've made a prop or a mask at home, bring it along. We want to see it. What's important is that you are curious about the world around you, about theatre, about live performance. And as long as you can show us that and share that with us, that's all we're after. So don't be frightened by the portfolio.
We ask applicants to bring along an example of work they've been involved in the recording of. We don't make it any more specific than that. Just bring along a portfolio of pictures, what they were using, what they were doing, how the event went. So it gives us an opportunity to then listen to what they've done, to look at what they've done, to ask them to describe it, to ask them to evaluate their work and other applicants' work as well.
A portfolio is really about you recognizing your worth, what you have done, and putting it together and communicating it to other people so that they look at it and go, oh, you know yourself, you know your work, you know who you are. It's a really good calling card.
You don't need to show that you know everything at all. You come here to learn. So it's more important that you show us the willingness to explore, the willingness to try different things. That's more important than showing what you actually know, which is great. It's good to show what you know, but you come here to learn.
It translates, anywhere in the world. Music, dance, drama, it translates and it transforms. And it makes people question things. It makes people think about things in a different way. It brings people together. And for me, that really is the most amazing thing about being part of the arts.
I think a lot of parents see their kids wanting to do creative things when they're at college and wanting to specialise in things like that, and that sort of scares them a bit sometimes because they think that there's no opportunities out there for people to work in the industry. And yes, it's a tough industry, but now, especially at the moment, there's loads of jobs out there and we're hearing about things all the time, and it's really reassuring to know that there will be work when we leave and we can do something we love and it is a viable career path.
Yeah, the creative industry is one of the biggest industries, and there's always going to be a demand for more content, more theatre, more film. So there'll always be a need for people like us.